There's a player in the NBA who strikes more fear into opponents when he's not even on the court than most superstars do when they're dropping 40 points. A player who's missed more games than he's played in recent years, yet still has general managers lying awake at night wondering if he'll show up when it matters most. We're talking about Kawhi Leonard, the ghost of the NBA, the part-time legend who might just be the most dangerous player you never actually see play. Think about this for a second. Right now, as we speak, Kawhi Leonard has missed over 34 games to start this season alone. The LA Clippers are paying this man north of $200 million to essentially be a very expensive question mark on their injury report. Yet somehow, someway, every single playoff contender in the Western Conference is still planning their entire postseason strategy around the possibility that this dude might actually lace up his sneakers when April rolls around. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Leonard's absence isn't just about load management anymore. It's become a full-blown phenomenon that's reshaping how we think about superstar impact. The man hasn't played since Game 3 of last year's playoff series against Dallas, disappeared from Team USA Olympic plans, underwent mysterious knee surgery, and still has analysts ranking the Clippers as a legitimate championship threat solely based on his potential return. This is the same player who pioneered the art of strategic absence, who turned load management from a dirty phrase into an accepted practice, who convinced an entire league that sometimes the best way to stay great is to not play at all. Leonard didn't just change the game, he changed the entire conversation around what it means to be a superstar in today's NBA. Let's talk about championship DNA for a moment, because Kawhi Leonard's resume reads like a basketball fairy tale written by someone who doesn't believe in fairy tales. 2 NBA championships with 2 completely different franchises, 2 Finals MVP awards. He's literally one of only 3 players in NBA history to win Finals MVP with multiple teams, joining Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LeBron James in that exclusive club. But here's the kicker. Those championships came in completely different ways. With the Spurs in 2014, he was the young defensive stopper who somehow outdueled LeBron James in his prime. With the Raptors in 2019, he was the seasoned assassin who carried an entire country on his back and delivered Canada its first NBA title. 2 different roles, 2 different teams, same result, absolute domination when the lights were brightest. The Raptors run specifically was something out of a movie script. Kawhi Leonard showed up in a city where he'd never wanted to play, with a fan base that was skeptical about his commitment, and proceeded to have one of the most legendary playoff runs in NBA history. Game 7 buzzer beater against Philadelphia, outplaying Giannis in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then going toe-to-toe with the Golden State Warriors dynasty and actually winning, all while managing a degenerative quad injury that had him limping between games? That Raptors championship run exposed something terrifying about Kawhi Leonard. When healthy and motivated, he might just be the most unstoppable playoff performer in the modern NBA. His ability to elevate his game in elimination scenarios, to hit impossible shots under impossible pressure, to play elite defense while carrying the offensive load, it's not normal. It's the kind of stuff that keeps opposing coaches awake at night. And that brings us to the most controversial aspect of Leonard's career: the load management revolution he started. Before Kawhi, sitting out games for maintenance was seen as soft, as giving up on your team and your fans. Leonard flipped that narrative completely. After winning that 2019 championship, he straight up admitted that without load management, he wouldn't have been the same player. He wouldn't have been able to perform at that level when it mattered most. The man literally said his career would have been over without strategic rest. Think about that statement for a second. The same player who just carried a franchise to its first championship is telling you that the only reason he was able to do it was because he sat out regular season games. It's the most honest admission about the modern NBA's physical demands that we've ever heard from a superstar. But Leonard's load management isn't just about sitting out back-to-backs or taking nights off against weak opponents. This dude has turned strategic absence into an art form. He'll disappear for weeks at a time, only to resurface in the playoffs looking like he hasn't missed a step. It's calculated, it's controversial, and it's incredibly effective. The injury timeline tells a story that's both frustrating and fascinating. It all started with that mysterious quad injury during his final season in San Antonio, the one that created the rift between Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs organization. Nobody really knows what happened in those San Antonio medical rooms, but what we do know is that Kawhi's relationship with his own body changed forever after that experience. Since then, it's been a constant cycle of injuries, setbacks, and comebacks. Knee issues, quad problems, back spasms. Every season brings a new concern about Kawhi Leonard's physical state. He's undergone multiple surgeries, missed entire chunks of seasons, and yet somehow keeps finding ways to return at the highest level when the stakes are highest. The most recent setback is particularly telling. Kawhi was supposed to be Team USA's secret weapon for the 2024 Olympics, but had to withdraw before even participating in exhibition games. Then came the news of off-season knee surgery, followed by an indefinite absence to start this season. It's the same pattern we've seen before. Kawhi Leonard's body breaking down during the most important moments, only for him to potentially return when championships are on the line. What makes this injury history even more remarkable is how Kawhi performs when he actually suits up. During his limited playoff appearances with the Clippers, he's still putting up elite numbers. His shooting percentages remain pristine, his defensive impact is still game-changing, and his ability to take over games in crucial moments hasn't diminished one bit. Here's where the Kawhi Leonard paradox becomes absolutely mind-boggling. When this man actually steps on a basketball court in playoff situations, chaos follows in the best possible way. His playoff statistics with different teams tell the story of a player who somehow elevates his already elite regular season performance to supernatural levels when championships are at stake. During that legendary 2019 Raptors run, Leonard averaged over 30 points per game in the playoffs while shooting better than 49% from the field and 37% from three-point range. But those numbers don't capture the clutch factor, the way he seemed to hit every big shot when his team needed it most. The 4-bounce buzzer beater against Philadelphia, the steal and dunk against Milwaukee, the way he outplayed Kevin Durant and Steph Curry in the finals. Even in his limited Clippers playoff appearances, Leonard has shown flashes of that same playoff gear. When healthy, he's still capable of dropping 30 points on elite efficiency while locking down the opposing team's best player. The problem is that when healthy qualifier has become bigger and bigger with each passing season. But here's what's truly scary about Kawhi Leonard in playoff mode. He doesn't just beat you with offense, he breaks your spirit with defense. His combination of size, strength, and basketball IQ allows him to guard positions 1 through 4 at an elite level. He's the kind of defender who can single-handedly disrupt an entire offensive system just by existing on the court. The psychological impact of Leonard's playoff presence can't be measured in traditional statistics. Opposing teams game plan differently when they know Kawhi might be available. Rotations change, strategies shift, entire offensive schemes get scrapped because there's a possibility that the Claw might make his return at the worst possible moment for the opposition. Which brings us to the most expensive gamble in modern NBA history, the Los Angeles Clippers' $250 million bet on a player who spends more time in street clothes than in uniform. When the Clippers signed Leonard in 2019, they weren't just acquiring a superstar, they were betting their entire organizational future on the idea that championship-level performance justifies any amount of regular season absence. The numbers are staggering when you really break them down. Leonard's contract with the Clippers is worth over $200 million across multiple years, making him one of the highest-paid players in the league. Yet his games played percentage since joining the franchise reads like a medical report rather than an athletic achievement. The Clippers are essentially paying championship prices for part-time availability. But here's the thing that makes this gamble even crazier. The Clippers organization seems perfectly fine with this arrangement. They've built their entire roster construction strategy around the assumption that Kawhi Leonard will be available when it matters most. Every trade, every free agent signing, every coaching decision is made with the understanding that their best player might not be available until the playoffs. The front office has repeatedly stated their commitment to Leonard's long-term health over short-term regular season success. They've invested in the best medical staff, the most advanced recovery technology, and created a culture where load management isn't just accepted but encouraged. It's a complete organizational philosophy built around maximizing one player's playoff availability. This approach has created one of the most unique team dynamics in NBA history. The Clippers have become experts at staying competitive without their best player. Paul George, James Harden, and the supporting cast have learned to carry the load during Leonard's absences, knowing that their job is essentially to keep the team in playoff position until the cavalry arrives. The question that haunts every Clipper decision is simple yet impossible to answer. What happens if Kawhi never fully returns? What if this latest injury setback is the beginning of the end, rather than just another bump in the road? The organization has invested everything in the belief that Kawhi's playoff magic is worth any regular season sacrifice. But that bet only pays off if he can actually take the court when championships are decided. And that brings us to the ultimate legacy question that surrounds Kawhi Leonard's career. Is he destined to be remembered as the greatest part-time player in NBA history, or will his championship resume be overshadowed by his inability to stay on the court consistently? The argument for Leonard as the greatest part-time legend is actually pretty compelling. Name another player who's accomplished more while playing fewer games in their prime years. 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, multiple All-Star selections, and a defensive impact that changed how teams approach playoff basketball. All while managing a body that seems to break down every time he approaches peak performance. Leonard has essentially proven that in today's NBA, quality trumps quantity in the most extreme way possible. He's shown that 60 games of elite performance can be more valuable than 82 games of merely very good play. His championship runs with Toronto and San Antonio happened because he was able to access a level of basketball excellence that most players never reach, even if he could only maintain that level for short periods of time. But there's also the argument that Leonard's injury issues have prevented him from reaching his true potential. Imagine if the player who dominated the 2019 playoffs had been able to stay healthy for multiple consecutive seasons. Imagine if the Clippers' version of Kawhi Leonard had been available for more than just occasional flashes of brilliance. The basketball world might be talking about him in the same breath as LeBron James and Kevin Durant. His influence on load management has fundamentally changed how the NBA operates. Stars across the league now regularly sit out games for maintenance, rest days are built into team schedules, and fans have been forced to accept that their favorite players won't be available for every game. Leonard didn't just change his own career trajectory, he changed the entire league's approach to player health and longevity. The ripple effects extend beyond just rest strategies. Leonard's success while managing chronic injuries has influenced how teams evaluate talent, how contracts are structured, and how championship windows are defined. Organizations are now willing to build around players who might not be available year-round as long as they can deliver in the postseason. As we sit here in August 2025, watching Leonard's latest absence stretch into its second month, the central question remains unanswered. When the playoffs arrive this spring, will the most feared part-time legend in NBA history be ready to add another chapter to his impossible story? Or has Father Time finally caught up with the Claw? The truth is, nobody knows for sure. Not the Clippers' medical staff, not Leonard himself, and certainly not the rest of the NBA. But that uncertainty is exactly what makes Kawhi Leonard so terrifying as an opponent, and so frustrating as a fan. He's the ultimate wild card in a league full of known quantities. The player who can single-handedly shift championship odds simply by showing up to practice. Whether you love him or hate him, whether you think he's gaming the system or simply managing an impossible physical situation, one thing is undeniable. Kawhi Leonard has redefined what it means to be a superstar in the modern NBA. He's proven that sometimes the most powerful presence is the one you can't see coming, and that the greatest fear an opponent can face is not knowing when greatness will decide to show up. In a league obsessed with availability and consistency, Leonard stands as proof that transcendent talent can overcome almost any limitation. He may be the most feared part-time legend the basketball world has ever seen, and honestly, that might be the most terrifying thing about him of all.